All right, today's going to be a little interesting because I kind of pivoted. Today's was going to be on, we were going to talk about First Amendment auditing. And one of the First Amendment auditing things is freedom of the press. And so I was kind of like way into the weeds on the First Amendment. And then this Hogwarts Legacy thing started. And I've actually been following this with, and it's almost like a surreal like feeling with this is how people are acting. Good morning. You'll notice that the title of today's show is Hate is Never a Goal. For probably the last 6 years, good morning. For the last 6 years, I've been trying to figure out what the goal of the LGBTQIP2SAA alliances, right? And I don't think they know. And I'm taken back to a time when the civil rights movement had a very uneducated but volatile militant arm. And it scares me. It scares me because hate can never be your goal. I mean, sure, you can have hate as a goal. I can't tell you that you can't have hate as a goal. You can have whatever you want as your goal. But I'm trying to figure out like where the sanity, where the logic, where the we're gonna make a difference in the way people have been treating streamers who just want to play a game that they aren't involved with the politics of. There's a lot of people, they don't like J.K. Rowling. I've never been given, concrete, solid evidence. I've never been given the smoking gun for anything that we should condemn her for. Even when people give me her more inflammatory moments, I say, okay, but that's her opinion. And yet people don't like that. When I say, yeah, but that's her opinion, give me 10 more words, give me the next thing. I like Harry Potter. I don't particularly care about the author of the book's political leanings. If you read Lord of the Rings, Tolkien came from an era of racism. Oh my God, Jay said he's racist. I didn't say he's racist. I said he comes from an era of racism. Anybody that's over the age of 40, you know that the America you lived in the 80s and the 90s was more racist than it is today. It's fascinating that Harry Potter is now a book that has been bashed both by woke and anti-woke, right? Like, there's got to be something going on with the landscape, with the political landscape. If both sides are bashing a book, saying it's a talking point for the other side, there's got to be something disconjointed, right? I think Harry Potter is a great story for kids. I have the entire set. We own multiple copies of the full set of books. It's not something I think my kids shouldn't be reading. I think it's a perfectly fine book for kids to read. I don't see Harry Potter having political overtones in it. A lot of protesters, I guess, are upset about it. They're upset. Before I get too far into today, I talk about this movie pretty often. I talk about the movie The American President fairly often. It's got a really good ending scene in it, but for Section 107 rights to show the clip, I have to use the minimum amount of the clip necessary for what I want to talk about. So if you've never seen the movie The American President, it's pretty good. Michael Douglas and Ed Benning. It's actually kind of funny because Martin Sheen is the chief of staff, and then Martin Sheen goes on to be the president of the United States in the West Wing. So it's kind of funny to see him in that role. But this is just a really small, short piece about freedom of speech.
It's going to say, you want free speech? Let's see you acknowledge a man whose words make your blood boil, who's standing center stage and advocating at the top of his lungs that which you would spend a lifetime opposing at the top of yours. You want to claim this land as the land of the free? Then the symbol of your country cannot just be a flag. The symbol also has to be one of its citizens exercising his right to burn that flag in protest. Now show me that. Defend that. Celebrate that in your classrooms. Then you can stand up and sing about the land of the free.
See, the big thing that we have going on right now is I don't think anybody's interested in having a discussion or a debate or a dialogue or a conversation. People are just interested in speaking and being heard, but not hearing the other side. I think everybody has the right to protest the Harry Potter Hogwarts Legacy game. I'm not telling you don't have the right to protest it. I think where you don't have the right to protest it is in a small streamer's channel where you hate raid the small streamer and you make the streamer cry because you say such malicious and hurtful stuff. The streamer didn't make the game. The streamer didn't write the dialogue of the original Harry Potter books, but you're stepping on somebody because ultimately you're full of hate and you're a coward. Because it's interesting that none of those groups went to any of the large streamers, the people that have been hate rated multiple times a week for years and they know how to handle it. You notice nobody went and jumped up and down on Zach's head, otherwise known as Asmongold. Nobody went, to my knowledge, he didn't get hate rated. Now, I did have something going on last night. I didn't get to see if he got hate rated later in the day. But this is what I don't understand. This is what I don't get. It's that important to you that you're going to go to small streamers and you're going to hate raid people, but you're not going to go to the largest platform of all where, you could get some movement. Got some media pieces on Hogwarts Legacy we're going to take a look at. First of all, I think this is funny. The game officially launched yesterday, and it is now, as of 27 minutes ago, let's just do a quick reload. As of 2 minutes ago, the game on Steam alone was peaking. But they know they won't be heard in Asmongold's stream because they will be drowned out by the thousands in support of him. Yeah, wait, I'm gonna be outnumbered and outsmarted. Nah, I'll skip hate rating that stream. See, that's the problem. And you're absolutely right. They're not gonna go to Asmongold's stream. Because number one, and I don't know why this perpetuates. I hear people shit talk Asmongold all the time, and I'm like, you do realize that Asmongold is a character, and the person Zach, the human being, is actually incredibly intelligent. So you're absolutely right. They're not going to go somewhere where they're going to get decimated. Now you also say they'll be drowned out by the thousands in support of him. Well, if you can't get thousands of people to go to the biggest streamer, one of the top 10 biggest streamers, maybe your movement isn't as strong as you think. Imagine hate rating a teenager video game streaming hobbyist, a teenage video game streaming hobbyist over a critically acclaimed fantasy franchise adaptation being not woke enough. See, this is the thing. I don't even think that's why they're hate rating it. Because Hogwarts Legacy has a transgender character, right? They have a transgender character in the game. So I don't understand what the deal is. So I'm trying to bring it up. Unfortunately, so many of these websites, they get all the autoplay stuff. Harry Potter game Hogwarts Legacy under fire over trans character's name. Trans people and their allies have slammed the name of the first trans character in the Harry Potter universe. Serona Ryan appeared in the new video game Hogwarts Legacy as a publican at the Three Broomsticks. Serona tells players that Lodric was the only one to realize that was actually a witch. Racially stereotypical name. Rowling gave to characters in the book series, including an Asian student, Cho Chang, and a black wizard, Kingsley Shacklebolt. Okay. They called the only trans witch in all of Britain Serona Ryan. Another fun bit of info is they claim the transgender character's voice is too masculine and it was voiced by an actual transgender. I want to know something, right? Serona. I don't know. Sirona. Name popularity. Girls, Serona is a girl's name, meaning it's a girl's name. What are we reading this far in? Are we reading this far into things? Really? Cho Chang, including an Asian student named Cho Chang. And people are upset about that. What would be people's response if let me bring up the picture real quick. What would have happened if we had taken, unfortunately I don't have that other plugin installed. I gotta fix that. What if we had done this? And what if we had named her Catherine O'Malley? If we had named her Catherine O'Malley and given her a backstory, then people would have said, oh, well, now you're saying Irish people are adopting Chinese girls. We can turn anything into a political debate. You can take anything and turn it into some political, view. We're going to take Cho Chang, rename her Catherine O'Malley, and now all of a sudden the Chinese government, no, you'll be accused of whitewashing her Asian ancestry. Exactly. There is no winning. There is no winning. I'm looking up the popularity of the name Cho. Cho is ranked 12,000th all overall in name popularity. Probably some of it after the Harry Potter movies came out, but if J.K. Rowling made a whole ass world in her books, how can anyone but her know what a stereotypical name is for a make-believe race? So where's the petition about the unequal treatment of werewolves? You know what? I want to bring up I'm glad you brought that up. I'm glad you brought up the petition for the unequal treatment of werewolves, because I would like to ask the question, where were the vampires? Where were the vampires? Why were there no vampires shown in any of the Harry Potter movies? Why is that? I feel underrepresented. Oh wait, I think I just broke the masquerade. These are just the people that walk around with a big fat victim card on their forehead, right? And the funny part is, one of these days, you guys can laugh about it. I have 5 daughters. I have five daughters. A bad roll of the dice. My eldest children, my 3 eldest, are all like me. They're pasty white Caucasians. The youngest one is a pasty white Caucasian. The teenager, I swear we can't take her to Texas or Arizona because people are going to ask her for her green card. Now, it is funny to watch her introduce herself and see people's reaction because she has a Irish last name. Funny how that works, having a 100% Irish dad. And people are like, we don't know what to do with that. She'll be chosen as like the Hispanic representative for something. And she shows up and they're like, what's your mom's maiden name? And I'm not even kidding. They have asked my teenager for her mom's maiden name, and it doesn't help because my wife's maiden name is not deep-rooted Hispanic, and they get all confused. They're like, well, what are we gonna do with this? We have a, what do you mean? It doesn't matter. Why are we worried about the name? Then just put first names on the cards. But no, this is, I am absolutely shocked by, we're reading into Sirona. So are you telling me that every female in England or Europe that has the first name of Sirona is really a closet transgender? I'm sure that there are people, women with the name of Sirona, who are happy with their name. It's a Celtic, long old Celtic name. We didn't win. It's the typical J.K. Rowling name situation, and apparently they've been mistaken for a wizard by classmates as well. I'm sorry, but this is where, what is the goal then? Apparently they're mistaken for a wizard by classmates as well. Isn't being misgendered or misidentified the core of the transgender argument? That they want, I mean, because I don't know what the goal is. I don't know what the objective is. It's typical. Where's the other example? If it's typical, where's the other examples? Exactly. Right? And I think what they're referring to is the Cho Chang thing, the Kingsley Shacklebolt. I think you're reaching there with racism. If you feel you need to race or a third commented, a token transgender called Sirona Ryan. Really, getting tokenized is bad enough, but they're just taking the piss. If you're not familiar with European slang, they're making fun of us, right? This phrase, they're just taking the piss, means they're making fun of you. Other Twitter users hypothesized the character was named after the Celtic pagan healing goddess Sirona. Well, color me fucking shocked. You mean that's the origin of the name, and that's where the character was named after? Ahead of the game's release, Rowling opponents in major LGBTQ organizations called for people to boycott the game over the author's trans rhetoric. So, the author first faced backlash for supporting UK tax specialist Maya Forstarter, who had been fired over tweets deemed anti-trans. Rowling wrote an essay on the trans issue and proposed changes to the law for gender self-identification on her personal website. When you throw open the doors of bathrooms and changing rooms to any man who believes or feels he's a woman, and as I said, gender confirmation certificates may now be granted without any need for surgery or hormones, then you open the door to any and all men who wish to come inside. That is the simple truth. Okay, because people want to hate on J.K. Rowling for this, I'm going to say it. I don't believe in you being able to choose whatever bathroom you want to choose. I don't agree with this. I don't agree with it at all. Why? Because we know we have perverts in the world. We know we have perverts. I am not against the idea of having a women's room, a men's room, and an open room. But I'm just going to say it to you straight up as a dad. If you're just feeling like a woman today, and my daughter's in the bathroom, you need to feel your ass into the one-person bathroom, because there are some strange fucking ducks in the world, and I don't want your strange fucking duckness near my daughter. Notice I didn't say I don't want the trans people near my daughter. I don't want the fucking guy who's a pedophile who decides he identifies as a woman today in the woman's bathroom. I don't think that this right here, right? I don't think this right here is transphobic. I think this is, I think this is absolutely a relevant concern. It's just part of the Twitter feud. JK pissed some activists, and now they're just running a retaliation campaign as always. Today it's JK Rowling. Tomorrow it's Peterson, Jordan Peterson, I assume you mean. Another day it's Stephen King or whatever. Right, exactly. Here's the interesting thing. Absolutely interesting question for you. Pedophiles can like boys too, though. You're right. But there's nothing I can do in that situation. The solution doesn't fix that one. But I'll tell you right now, when you are in a bathroom with men and a guy gets, and you know this, well, you may not know this. If you're in a bathroom with men and a man in that bathroom is getting a little too curious, other men will say, "Hey, what the fuck are you doing?" As a dad, I'm stuck outside that bathroom door. My kid's been, I'll tell you right now, I don't give a shit. If my kid cries for help, I'm going in. Fuck it, but it's gonna get done. But see, this is not a transphobic statement. Gender confirmation certificates may not be granted without any need for surgery or hormones. Then you open the door to any and all men who wish to come inside. It's the simple truth. What do you think? I'm just going to take it a different direction so that people don't get all hung up. What do you think female survivors of sexual assault, how do you feel? What about their rights? Female survivor of sexual assault now has to live in a world where a man who just identifies as a man or as a woman today can walk into a bathroom. I'll say it this way. The way I look today, is there any confusion? If I walked into the women's bathroom, do you think I might make somebody uncomfortable? I think I would. The problem becomes, like Grumpy Old Man said, you might as well just remove gender from all bathrooms. And, you might as well just remove gender from all bathrooms. But then what's going to happen? You're going to have less people frequenting your establishment. If transgender individuals, let's make sure that we don't just say trans. If transgenders or transgender individuals were serious about their movement, they'd be working to prosecute the people that pervert their movement, not defend the bad actors. Hit them like you would with blackface. Maybe the people would back off. Exactly. If I saw you walking towards the woman's restroom, I would say, "Hey man, ladies' room." Yeah, exactly. Thanks, man. Don't have my Hey man, ladies. Oh shit. Thanks. Don't have my glasses on. See, my problem is, what is it? What is it that we really want? What is it we want? What is it anybody else wants? See, because if you tell me you want to be able to pick the bathroom of your choosing, well, then let's just get rid of gender on bathrooms. Instead of having, or, right? Yeah, you want a safe place to use the bathroom and change. So instead of having, and see, remember we had to talk. I knew we would eventually get here, so we had to talk about some other things. That's why we did an entire show on fair and equal. That's why we talked about on other shows. We talked about separate and equal. Is there something wrong then with having a bathroom that is women only, having a bathroom that is men only, and having a bathroom then that is genderless? Because then everybody gets what they want. And this is a serious question, and I would love for the movement, the platform, to answer that question. You want to be able to use whichever bathroom you want. I don't want you to be able to use whatever bathroom you want. If you want to say that gender is a social construct and shouldn't exist, then I will 100% advocate for every establishment having to put in 3 bathrooms. Men only, women only, genderless. Then you can use the genderless bathroom. Is that not a compromise? Well, the next step is to unionize and create the bathroom monitors responsible for the safety of bathroom users and locker rooms. Right. I'll tell you this. I was at a concert with my daughter. I was probably... It was the Chicago Stadium. It was the BTS concert. It was completely packed. It was sold out. I was probably... in a statistical minority. Men might have been 3% of the audience. Men might have been 3% of the entire crowd. I had to use the bathroom. I went up. The ladies was all the way out the door. Walked into the men's. And there was a lady doing like the dance. I gotta go. I said the men's is empty. She walked in and went into the stall. I'm taking a piss at the urinal. That didn't bother me. I'm not in there trying to, I'm just in fucking, after I walked out, about 10 ladies walked into the men's. I don't give a shit. I'm in there to take care of business. Now, if you walk over and you start staring at my, I'm gonna be like, hey, men rule, little space, please. And then people who monitor the monitors, I can't understand why I have to pay a $5 surcharge to use the bathroom. You're right. That's what it's going to turn into. That's what it's going to boil down to. So, now I want to, please sign this release form before using the bathroom. Exactly. Now I want to get to this part, because this was brought up yesterday during my show, and I didn't even understand the acronym. TERF, an acronym for Trans Exclusionary Radical Feminist. Okay, you'll notice the title of the show again is Hate is Never the Goal. If you start creating acronyms, Trans Exclusionary Radical Feminist, you're not interested in a dialogue. If sex isn't real, there's no same-sex attraction. If sex isn't real, the livid reality of women globally is erased. I know and love trans people, but erasing the concept of sex removes the ability of many to meaningfully discuss their lives. If it isn't hate to speak the truth, it isn't hate to speak the truth. I respect every trans person's right to live any way they feel authentic and comfortable to them. I'd march with you if you were discriminated against on the basis of being trans. At the same time, my life has been shaped by being a female. I do not believe it is hateful to say so. Remember, all these people try to say that J.K. Rowling says all this inflammatory stuff, and here's what's been said. If sex isn't real, there's no same-sex attraction. This is, remember I said, the acronym has gotten so large that there's not a single platform anymore. LGBTQIP2SAA. Okay? The problem is 3 of those are orientations and 3 of those are genders, and those 2 things are contradictory. If half of your movement is saying that there is no such thing as gender, or gender is a social construct, then there's no such things as lesbians or gays or bisexuals. See, here's the thing. Starting to sound like a Street Fighter combo. Yeah, it is. And then they stick ally on the end. So apparently the only enemy you have, whenever you use the word ally, it implies having an enemy. Who's the enemy then? The establishment? Or they say people that are straight and, male. I don't care who you're fucking. I don't care. Dennis Leary fucking talked about this shit 20 years ago. he was talking about the military, about how the military needs, he was speaking out politically about how the military needed to get rid of don't ask, don't tell. And they said because he does this skit called President Larry, don't ask, don't tell, needs to go away. I just want you to fuck them, kill them, and eat them. You like men? Here's another man and a gun. Go, go. I like to fuck sheep. Here's a sheep and a Humvee. Go. I like to fuck watermelons. Here's a jet and a watermelon. Go, go, go. Fuck them, kill them, and eat them, boys. The thing is that I don't even know who the enemy for that organization is. But they seem to be full of a lot of hate, and I don't think they have a destination. It was said earlier in the show. They just like to have enemies so that they can start fights. Gonna look again. We're gonna, Hogwarts Legacy is trending despite controversy. It's not worth it to get bullied endlessly. Hassan explains why some streamers, including him, are avoiding playing Hogwarts Legacy. Now, this guy has got to, I don't know the streamer, but Hassan has raised $457,000 out of $500,000. I'm gonna guess that's a charity. Blind guess. I don't know. People who want to boycott the games aren't wrong to hate J.K. Rowling. She's awful. Except it's fruitless no matter how much trans folks want to push for it. It's like trying to boycott Disney. Most people have no idea, don't care about J.K. Rowling at all, and they just want to go to Hogwarts. Okay. People who want to boycott the game aren't wrong to hate J.K. Rowling. You're always wrong when you hate somebody. Hating somebody doesn't make a damn change in anything. I have showed you some of J.K. Rowling's statements. I respect every trans person's right to live any way that feels authentic and comfortable to them. I'd march with you if you were discriminated against on the basis of being trans. No, we're gonna hate on the person who says, I respect your right to live any way you want. The problem is, from all the garbage that I've had to sift through, that it's offensive to the trans movement if I say I'm a white male. I'm a white straight male. That's offensive to them. Because I'm identifying as my orientation and my gender. They don't want me to say I'm a straight male. Because that's labeling myself. Okay. It's my freedom of speech. It's me labeling myself. You can identify as anything you want. I can't identify as a straight white male. And I throw white in there, even though I don't have to, because it comes up. For some odd reason, race enters this argument as well, and I don't know why. I personally don't even attribute it to hate. The whole story is absolutely logical and identity politics framework. I don't get it, though. If they weren't shoving it in people's faces, do you think any straight old white dude has time to even care about what you do behind closed doors? There's the straight old white dude who says you can identify as a sheepdog if you want to, but that don't mean I'm gonna call you a sheepdog. And they said, the interviewer says, well, what about their feelings? He says, I don't give a fuck about your feelings. And the interviewer asks him, well, how do you know that you're a male? He's like, I don't know, because I got a dick. And I laughed my ass off. The dude's probably 70 years old. Like, why are you even bothering this old man? Why are you bothering this old man? Because that, like I said, you got to know the era people come from. That old man grew up in an era where you were straight or you went to jail. Oh shit, do some people not remember that? You remember when being homosexual was a crime? An actual crime? Like, you went to jail. Crime. It's never been like that. Well, you should probably... Yeah, but right now it's supposedly worse. Yeah, exactly. Right now it's the worst it's ever been. Are you in jail? No. My eldest daughter, got arrested for holding hands with her girlfriend walking down the street of Augusta, Georgia. In 2010. 2010, folks. Small podunk little nowhere suburb still had an anti-gay ordinance on the books. It's not wrong to take a moral stand against the game. It's wrong to behave in a hateful manner. If you have to go through Twitch and verbally abuse someone in order to get your hate rocks off, then you're the worst person. Absolutely. We've made no fucking progress. Yeah, right? Switch back over here. I knew everyone would play it regardless, hence why I wanted to coordinate a massive trans charity push on release to at least raise awareness and funds, but it was considered a bad idea. We'll do other fundraisers down the line, but this could have used the extra attention. What extra attention? What extra attention? Where are we trying to get to? Notice that nobody is talking about what the issues are. Twitch streamer girlfriend reviews a duo couple. Shelby can be heard crying in the background while Matt states during the stream, I'm almost thinking of either just going offline. I look at chat, it's just the conversation, it's bothering me. While hate raids have continuously been targeting streamers who have been showcasing the game, it's still the second most viewed game on Twitch. There's a website that was used to find content creators that stream it. The site has been immediately shut down after 24 hours of being up. Okay. This site has been immediately shut down after 24 hours of being up. How much faster do you want the establishment to be able to shut something down? And when I say the establishment, I mean the coordination between streamers being harassed, Twitch contacting the authorities contacting the place that's hosting a website that's taking speech and turning into hateful action. 24 hours in a world of internet technology is pretty damn fast of getting something taken down. Or what do you want to do? Give more authority and more power to the establishment? I don't want to give any more power to the establishment. I think the establishment already has too many fast track warrants. I think the establishment is always 5 steps ahead of itself, and then like, what do? I don't want to change the establishment so they can take a website down faster than 24 hours. I don't want to live in Mega City 1 where the police officers are the judges and the executioners. Logic is that you can't challenge the rules decided by the other person's identity unless you're in the crowd enforcing the identity regime. J.K. Rowling wasn't in the enforcing crowd, so she and all of her supporters of her work are in the KOS list. Right. And like I say on my show all the time, because I sometimes offend people and they're like, you just don't understand. No, you don't understand because you're still back there making up derogatory words for people that you feel don't support you. And I'm here 30 steps ahead of you saying, get the hell up here to equality. I want everybody who thinks they aren't equal to jump up here with me and tell me why they think they aren't equal. I will confirm that hate is really, really uncomfortable feeling. It sucks, and the person you hate never has any detrimental effect. Only you do. Real, true hate is painful. That's why people say all the time, they're like, Jay, you're a hater. I don't hate anything. Well, I hate a few things. I shouldn't say I don't hate anything. But in my life, I realized I can fill myself up with hate, or I can work against it. Hating it's not gonna fix it. Hating it's just gonna consume my life. That's where I tell people that hate me, I don't even see people's blocked messages. I don't have time for that. People will sit there and will shit talk me. Dude, I live rent free in your head. That's what hate is. Hate is living rent free in your head. So again, we've looked at how many articles right now, and I've still yet to see a problem. Game director Alan 2 addresses the controversy. We know that it's a diverse audience. For us, it's making sure that the audience who always has dreamed of having this game had the opportunity to feel welcomed back. They have a home here, and it's a good place to tell their story. To be more inclusive towards the LGBTQIA plus community, Avalanche Software has included a transgender figure in the game, Serona Ryan. However, Twitter user @CurtezChris states, the Harry Potter game added a trans woman who looks like a man and dresses like a man, and his name's Serona Ryan. Okay. The Harry Potter game added a trans woman who looks like a man and dresses like a man. and his name's Serona Ryan. What the fuck did they think they were doing? I'm confused, because isn't that the crux of being transgender? You're a man, you're a female entity, a female spirit, a female soul trapped in a male shell. In a male shell. They look like a man and dresses like a man, and his name's Serona Ryan. And what the fuck did they think they were doing? I don't know. Maybe if instead of you being so easy to be full of hate and offended, maybe you'd realize that doesn't this represent an awful lot of people that your acronym is supposed to be representing? Is Mrs. Doubtfire offensive or ahead of its time? IGN interviewed Avalanche to respond to these claims, and they have stated it has been a high priority throughout the development to create a game that is representative and diverse, aligning with our wonderful fan community. Offering player choices in the way they play the character is an element that we've worked on since the start. The character creator is just one example of that, and of course the large diverse cast of characters present throughout the game have also had a huge amount of thought from Avalanche and Warner Brothers. Hogwarts Legacy has garnered a lot of controversy around transphobia, hate raids, and concern about streaming the game. Content creators are concerned for their communities and deciding whether to risk hate raids by streaming the game. Okay. Dresses like a man. I'm looking at her right now. She's got a skirt on. Yeah, that's the thing, because people saw her from the top up. People saw the character from the top up. Let me see if unfortunately, I can't get... Oh, yeah. Nope, not all... Not... I can't get a full body picture. But the thing is... what do you want them to do? What do you want them to do? Put in multiple transgender characters? What is Canada Bill C-16? Bill C-16 Bill C-16 in Canada seeks in part to add the grounds of gender identity and gender expression to broaden the recognition of the rights of any other members of a sexual minority group. Okay. Here's my problem with this. I've shown the Morgan Freeman clip on the show before. If we continue to create rights for minority groups, all we're doing is keeping people in separate piles. My daughter is a good example of this. My daughter is a woman. My daughter is Hispanic. My daughter is bisexual. On any given day, my daughter has to make a decision of which of her rights for equality she wants to work towards. Sometimes she has to deal with her rights of being a woman, gender issue. Sometimes she has to deal with her bisexual nature, that's her sexual orientation. Sometimes she has to deal with the fact that she's Hispanic, she's a minority. I'm angry. I'm very, very angry with the LGBTQIP2SAA organization because you're busy breaking people into multiple different groupings. I just want you to jump up there and say, we want to be equal. We want to be equal and be able to shh. We want to be equal. Stop. Period. See, that's the problem. You've got that written down, don't you? Yeah, it's on my other screen. LGBTQIP2SAA. I've got it on my other screen because it's changed so many times. I want people to stop arguing of, I just want to be equal. I just want to be equal. See, because what I find is stupidly offensive is they're talking about transgenders in athletic competitions. I think that instead of being male or female, whatever, it should be based on your genetics. It should be based on your genetics. Right? If you have XX chromosomes, you're a female. If you have XY chromosomes, you're a male. If you have XX chromosomes, you're a female. You compete in female sports because genetically you are a XX. If you have XY chromosomes, you compete in XY chromosome sports because you have XY chromosomes. I'm no longer interested. I'm not. This is how scientific we're going to make it. You have XX chromosomes. You compete in the XX bracket. You have XY chromosomes. You compete in the XY bracket. What would be the harm in that? Because now genetically we're competing people against their genetic makeup. What about trichromosomal persons? I have no idea. We then would have to set minimum and maximum testosterone levels. Or we just say you can't because there's not a large enough competitive bracket. We just say you can't compete or you can compete in those events that we have enough people competing in. And then people start to say, well, I don't want to be boiled down to my genetic markers. Well, that's exactly what you want. Oh, no. You didn't just deny people's right to self-assign their identity based on some scientific mumbo jumbo. I did, actually. I said, I'm not telling you you're a woman. I'm not telling you you're a man. I'm saying that you are XX or XY or other. You're XX, you compete in XX sports. You're XY, you compete in XY sports. Or I guess then we're setting the XX people. XX can compete in XX or XY, but XY can't go and compete in XX. See, it almost makes you want to just stop altogether. You're like, you know what? The Olympics are canceled. The Olympics are canceled because nobody can even sit down and have a discussion or a point on this. I'll be right back. Well, then they need to remove weight limits for wrestling. You're right. Because why are you discriminating against me based on my weight class? They need to take weight class out of boxing too. You know, got to take it all out. So, with that said, hop back over here and we're gonna dig into some more of this insanity. Hogwarts Legacy leaves some gamers conflicted over Rowling's trans views. Some fans are struggling to reconcile the author's comments with the desire to immerse themselves in the best reviewed Harry Potter game ever. Harry Potter fans have been waiting more than a decade for a video game worthy of the blockbuster entertainment franchise dedicated following. And yet, we're going to tell people that they can't, we can't even have a headline. Conflicted over Rowling's trans views. I don't think her trans views are I respect every trans person's right to live in any way that feels authentic and comfortable to them. And are we still going up? We're still going up. 77,000 people playing on Steam alone. I'm sorry, 772,000 people playing on Steam alone. We're going up, up, up. There's 244,000 Twitch viewers. XQC slams Hogwarts Legacy boycotters after making streamer cry on Twitch. Felix defended streamers who are playing Hogwarts Legacy after users harassed girlfriend reviews to tears over streaming the new Harry Potter game. The drama soon spread to Twitch, where some streamers spoke out against ads for the game running on the platform, while others even created a website to track who had streamed the Wizards game. Many users entered girlfriend reviews chat where they berated the duo. Twitch chat bullies streamer for playing Hogwarts Legacy to the point of making his girlfriend cry. During his own playthrough, he shared his takes on... hold on a second. Where is the outrage? During his own playthrough of the game, XQC shared his takes on the ongoing drama. People fund all sorts of evil with their purchases across the board in ways worse than you can even imagine. This is a reference to how J.K. Rowling will make money off Hogwarts Legacy, something that many opposed to the game don't want to support. Now you're trying to make people feel bad for fucking purchasing a video game? Bro, you need to suck my balls. So, my thing is this. Why are people concerned? What's the goal? Where are we trying to get to? It's like Ron DeSantis has got to is now going to be running the Disney district due to his getting... Florida Governor Ron DeSantis takes control of Disney's special district. This is one of the dumbest things that I've seen, because Texas has offered Disney and Universal Studios, and Universal Studios has taken them up on it. Texas has offered Disney hundreds of acres. The same that they had in Reedy Creek, the way that Walt had to buy it. Because you know that Walt had a plan to expand Disneyland, but then people bought up all the property around Disneyland to put up shitty hotels, and it didn't work out the way they wanted. Texas has been offering land for almost 20 years now. You're right, and the thing is Universal Studios is actually taking them up on it. Universal Studios is building a park in Frisco, Texas, and right now Disney doesn't have any plan. Well, up until Universal said that they were going to, Disney had no plan, and now that Universal's doing it, Disney will do it. You know what that'll do to the Florida economy? See, this is where Ron DeSantis and this is where politicians need to not have like an ego when people see the whole point of this discussion, the whole point of today's stream is that you have a viewpoint, I have a viewpoint. The moment that your viewpoint tries to cancel my viewpoint, well then we're never going to get anywhere. Because a compromise is you give a little, I give a little, nobody's happy, but everybody's satisfied. You want, what is it? And again, I'm every time the LGBTQIP2SAA argument comes up, I'm going to say, what is it you want? Because I think right now, They don't even know what they want. I think the movement is just moving. It's not making progress. It's just moving. It's like a couple of weeks ago, we did the show on racism. And I'm all about talking about racism. But I lose my desire to speak about racism when clearly wrong shit isn't talked about because it's not racist enough. 4 white police officers kill a black guy in Milwaukee, and we have protests that turn into riots. But 5 black people kill a black friend in Mexico, and that got like headlines for like half a day. Was there a recent attempt to integrate minor attracted persons into their movement as well? I don't know. I don't think so. And let me tell you that is I don't tolerate the MAP designation. You're a fucking pedophile. You're a fucking pedophile. And see, that's where you gotta realize sometimes you close the fucking door on memberships. We want to have the lesbians, the bisexuals, and the gays. Okay. 10 years later, we're gonna invite the transgenders. Okay, you kind of fit. Then we're gonna invite everybody else. Half of that acronym is sexual orientation. Half of that acronym is self-identification. Your sexual while you do self-identify your sexual orientation, people get all mad at Ben Shapiro. I know Ben Shapiro and Jordan Peterson aren't on the top of everybody's favorite person list. When you start protecting people that have a mental disorder, and you don't want to acknowledge that some people, like, I'm not saying in the slightest that there aren't female spirits in a male biological shell. I'm not saying that there aren't male spirits in a female biological shell. But when you want to turn around and you want to just completely dismiss gender dysphoria, the term transgender refers to a person whose sex assigned at birth does not reflect their gender identity. Some people who are transgender will experience gender dysphoria or dysphoria, which refers to psychological distress that results from an incongruence between one's sex assigned at birth and one's gender. Through gender dysphoria often begins in childhood. Some people may not experience it until after puberty or much later. This is the diagnostic criteria for the DSM-5. Okay? This is a mental health disorder. But the moment you bring up that some transgenders suffer from a mental health disorder, you're immediately labeled as the bad guy. You're trying to say we're all sick. No, I'm not trying to say you're all sick. I just sort of maybe kind of think that we shouldn't be doing gender reassignment surgeries on adolescents. Because again, it's one of those crazy things. Human brain doesn't stop developing until age 25. Human brain doesn't stop identifying until 25. Yet there are some states where 15, 16, 17-year-olds can start their progress through gender reassignment surgery. Hold on a second. Hold on a second. Our entire structure for the approval that we give to, or the power we give to self-govern, self-determine, is completely jacked up. So an 18-year-old kid flies to Orlando to go on vacation because they can afford the plane ticket, the park ticket, all of that. But an 18-year-old kid who goes to a rental car agency can't rent a car because he's only 18. Got to be 21 or 25, depending on the state. So an 18-year-old kid can't rent a car. But an 18-year-old kid can enter into a binding contract for a college loan for up to $250,000. Okay? An 18-year-old kid can be assigned heavy ordnance in the military. Can't rent a car, can't drink a beer. But in some states, a 16-year-old kid can start their gender reassignment treatment. Does anybody else see a major problem with this? 16-year-old kid can make the determination that they want to start gender reassignment surgery. The process. They don't get the surgery right away. They start the mental health treatment. They start this is what life's going to be like. They start the basic estrogen, testosterone swapping. And of course, we need to lower the age to vote to 16. But this is what confuses me. We don't even have one solid set of rules for what rights you get at certain ages. I think Europe does it a hell of a lot better than we do it. They can drink before they can drive. They can drink, not every country, but a lot of them, they can drink legally before they can drive. How do you stop DUIs? By let them drink before they drive. That way, they know the effects of alcohol on their body before they ever get behind the wheel of a car. I don't know. Sounds like a smart plan. When I was 16, many moons ago, when dinosaurs still roamed the earth, I had to do 10 hours of driving with total. 10 hours total. Now the kids have to do 50 hours total. Okay. I was allowed to drive around with as many people who fit in my car. And this is the late 90s, where backseat seatbelts weren't even a requirement yet. Now they can drive around from 16 to 17. They can drive around with one non-family member. Why do we hate 16-year-olds having fun, man? Why do we hate 16-year-olds having fun? 16-year-olds, all they want to do is cruise around a little bit. Why have kids learn to be self-efficient when you can profit off their ignorance? Here, I'm gonna go one that, for the nature of today's show, that's gonna be a little froggy. Why do we have rainbow pride flags in elementary schools? It's an honest question. Why do we have why do we have rainbow flags in elementary schools? Because, and I mean this with all sincerity, if we're going to put rainbow flags up in elementary schools, why aren't we showing porn? Because what's the rainbow flag? The rainbow flag is your sexual orientation. See, a lot of people who gave DeSantis a lot of crap about the Don't Say Gay bill. I'm not against the bill. I'm not against kindergarten teachers through second grade teachers not being able to talk about sexual orientation. Why are we talking about sexual orientation with 6-year-olds, 7-year-olds, and 8-year-olds? No one will step up to the mic on that one. Some people, when I say, why do we have rainbow flags in elementary school, some people immediately want to jump in and give me a good reason. And I'm going to say, okay, well then I'll trade you. Instead of putting up rainbow flags in the elementary schools, let's put up the 30 basic human rights. Let's teach the kids that they have 30 basic human rights. Some of you don't know this, right? I'm gonna get rid of the whole LGBTQIA2SAA plus movement right now. I'm gonna get rid of it right now. 30 basic human rights. right? All human beings are born, or all human beings are free and equal. All human beings are born free and equal in dignity and rights. They are endowed with reason and conscience and should act towards one another in a spirit of brotherhood. Well, can we just accept the fact that brotherhood is a gender identified word, but we understand what the spirit of brotherhood is? No discrimination. Everyone is Everyone is entitled to all of the rights and freedoms without distinction of any kind, such as race, color, sex, language, religion, political or other opinion, national or social origin, property, birth, or other status. Furthermore, no distinction shall be made on the basis of political, jurisdictional, or international status of the country or territory to which a person belongs. Holy shit, folks. I don't need to have the alphabet army. I can say, yeah, human is sexist, though. Right. Human. History is also sexist because, for those of you that don't know, history is his story. I don't give a shit if we call it her story. I don't give a shit if we rename history to our story. Right? Yeah, human X. Everyone has the right to life, liberty, and security of person. No one should be held in slavery, no torture or inhumane treatment. Okay, so I gotta stop right here. I don't agree with this human right. I'll tell you why I don't agree with this human right. I think you can't make a blanket statement of there's never a time for torture. Because if I capture 6 of you, and I know you 6 people are all glowing Geiger counter, yeah, I need your intel. Unfortunately, I don't get down because I don't get down with what the CIA does, but I do get down with what Banning does in Olympus Has Fallen. You got 2 guys sitting next to each other. You need to get intel out of one of them. I guarantee you, if you just stab the one guy through the bottom of the mouth into his brain, and you look at the other guy and you'd be like, his was quick and dirty. It's like Bran of Tarth in Game of Thrones. There's 3 of you, 2 quick deaths and a long one. The guy that just didn't get the quick death, he's going to tell you whatever you want to know. You know what I'm saying? Unfortunately, enhanced interrogation techniques are necessary when you need critical intel. Same right to use law. I agree. Everyone has the right to recognize and by the way, I don't think terrorist assholes qualify as human beings. I'm not saying that we should be torturing anybody. I'm saying that if you're running around being a terrorist, you forfeit your right to number 5. Same right to use law. Everyone has the right to recognition everywhere as a person before the law. I agree with this. Equal before the law. Right to be treated fair by court. Fair? Wait. Everyone has the right to an effective remedy by the competent national tribunals for acts violating the fundamental rights granted granted them by constitution or law. No unfair detainment. Right to a trial. Innocent until proven guilty. Did you know there are some fucking civilized Western countries that don't have an innocent until proven guilty clause? Fucking look them up and scramble your brain. Right to privacy. Freedom to movement and residence. Right to asylum. Right to nationality. Right to marry and have family. Wait a minute. Right to marry and have family? Why are we worried about putting a fucking Rainbow Coalition flag on the wall? Number 16 in the human rights gives you what you want. Men and women of full age. Without any limit. Okay. Humans, human X's of full age, without any limitation due to race, nationality, or religion, have the right to marry and to found a family. Right. But it only says men and women. I'm getting there. This is President Jalan's show, and I'm updating some things. I'm taking this. Remember, good is the enemy of best. Best is the enemy of better. I'm taking what's written and I'm making it mo better. That's what I do in my life. I make things mo better. Human X's of full age, without any limitation due to race, nationality, or religion, have the right to marry and found a family. They are entitled to equal rights as marriage, during marriage, and its dissolution. Marriage should be entered into only with the free and full consent of the intending spouses. Okay. How many can I marry assuming I'm stupid enough to want multiple spouses? See, now that grumpy old man takes us to a very interesting point. What do we do next? What do we do now where things are legal but morally gray? Currently, polygamy is not covered. Why not? Well, why not? Why isn't polygamy covered? What if I want to be the man from St. Ives that you meet with 7 wives? What if I want 7 wives? God, I don't know why I would want that. But why? What if I do? So now we start to get into this other area where I say that the longer this LGBTQIASS or SAA plus thing goes on, now we're going to start to get other problems. And the problem is, what about people? What does being married even mean and do first? Great question. What is being married and what does it do? It's a great question. Did you know in America we got 50 states? We got 50 sets of rules of what marriage is and what marriage isn't, and what happens when marriage ends and what happens when marriage doesn't? So for example, in some states, there's no, why is marriage some sort of legal status? Why in some states, like my wife and I, we filed for divorce once. We've talked about getting divorced 2 other times. And some people are like, well, if you filed for divorce, your marriage is horrible. No, I think if we filed for divorce and I didn't just show up on the day I could have been free, the judge would have given Dobby a sock or a Glock, whichever one he's going to give Dobby. It means our marriage worked itself out. But in one state, I would have owed my wife a shit ton of alimony. In another state, I don't. Kindergarten flag is intended to disrupt the deep-rooted, harmful preconceptions about sexual identities before they are formed. Yeah, fuck that. Fuck that bullshit statement, because we all know that one's bullshit. Everyone has a right to own things. Freedom of thought and religion, freedom of opinion and expression, the right to assemble, the right to democracy. Okay, I know this is gonna shock people, but I don't agree with number 21 either. I don't think everybody has a right to a democracy, because I think democracies are bullshit. I'll tell you right now, if I had the means, I would move to an island and we wouldn't be a democracy. We wouldn't be a democracy. We'd be a benevolent monarchy. The benevolent part is the important part. Democracies are bullshit. If anybody doesn't see that democracies are bullshit, everyone has the equal access to public service in his country. Everyone has the right to take part in the government of his country directly or through freely chosen representatives. They don't even understand that they said right to a democracy and then they're talking about a republic, a democratic republic. You live in America. You don't live in a democracy. You live in a democratic republic. Hey, Corporal, let's take a vote. You get to tell the lieutenant to fuck off. Right. The right to Social Security, the right to work, the right to rest and holiday, right of social service, right to education. Well, I think right to education should be a little bit further up than number 26. Right of culture and art. Human rights can't be taken away. Okay, human rights can be taken away. Human rights are taken away by the judicial organization that you create in order to make sure everybody else's judicial rights and freedoms are maintained. But why aren't we talking about human rights in kindergarten? Marriage became legal in the early 20th century because the medical community lobbying to force people to get a blood test to determine whether or not the fetuses would have a greater chance of being viable, which is bullshit because that's removing the right to marriage based on whether or not you're B negative or some blood type. Well, marriage was legal well before the 20th century. Just so we're clear, marriage has been legal for longer than the early 20th century. I don't know where you're going with that, but half of the things on that list people don't even want to fight for. Half of the things on that list people don't get. People don't advocate for. Why are we worried about, like, everything on that list recognized by religious and community standards, not by some fucking court and government, right? Well, and plus people were getting married in America before the 20th century. So I'm guessing marriage counts as a legal status because it modernizes traditions of a monarchy. No, what happens is that marriage is a legal construct because we don't want, like, here, let me help you out. Talking about polygamy or polyamory, having multiple spouses. We only say it's illegal because the insurance companies want it illegal. Wait, what? It's only illegal because the insurance companies want it illegal. I have a adult in her 30s best friend who has shitty medical insurance. I have a spouse. I could have another one. Then her and her kid would get health insurance. When you take Christianity out of Western civilization type government society, it seems to lack whatever sense it ever had. Yeah, you're absolutely right. I want to remind people, for those of you that are new to the show and how big my brain actually is, I want to remind you that America was founded by WASPs, white Anglo-Saxon Protestants. There is a reason why God appears often in documents. Because remember, there was religion in early America. Everybody came to church. There was no, I'm not going to church today. Everybody came to church. Everybody came to church. Because you didn't have a choice. Because the moment you didn't come to church, shit started happening to you. Like, people wouldn't do business with you. People wouldn't buy stuff from you. People wouldn't sell stuff. Because remember, if you want to know what early America bullshit looks like, read the Scarlet Letter. Yes, religion is deep rooted in this country. Do I think that we need to have religion? Fuck no. I don't think we need to have religion. But I think we need to acknowledge that a lot of the stupidity is a lot of people are caught up with the past and they don't understand the past. In Jalan we trust. Yes, in Jalan we trust. Exactly. First time chatter. See, the problem is you can't be a radical dissident and rock the boat. So you're saying God is stupid. Yes, I am. I'm saying God is stupid. I'm saying God created the earth for a 4th grade science project, and he has not taken it out of the bottom of the closet since. Either God is a sadist and enjoys watching people suffer, or maybe, just maybe, God has Alzheimer's, or he's left the phone off the hook. Haven't heard any prayers from that Earth planet in a while. Oh shit. One day he's gonna stumble into the kitchen, realize that the dog knocked the phone over. The problem is this. Hate is never a goal. Hate should never be your destination. J.K. Rowling offends you? Okay. Don't buy her products. But you don't get to tell J.K. Rowling she isn't entitled to have the opinion she has. Because the moment you tell J.K. Rowling she can't have the opinion she has, I can tell you can't have the opinion you have. And then all we do is we get into a canceling culture You don't like my product? And I tell people this all the time. People don't come to my gaming show because I'm offensive. Great. Fuck you too. Fuck you. I don't care. You're killing your career. I don't care. This isn't my career. I'm retired. I know I don't look at this. I'm retired. This is my hobby. And I'm happy when a handful of people tell me, shit, Jay, I never thought of it that way before. It's the fucking goal, man. People are upset about, and I'm just laughing as we watch this number, right? People are angry. J.K. Rowling's game. 778,000 now playing on Steam. I want to see if we hit 800,000 while we're live. We're slowly creeping up, right? We're slowly creeping up. 778,000 playing on Steam. So if we times that by 4, there's 3.5 million people playing. No, that's not right. There's 3.1 million people playing Hogwarts Legacy right now between all the platforms, because it's also on Epic Games Store. It's also on the consoles, and we can't get a single number for all of that. So for all the protesting, for all the people you made cry, let's think about it for a second. My wife says, fuck you for having good points. Exactly. For all of the hate, that the LGBT QQIP2SAA did Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday with the streamers that were covering Hogwarts Legacy, what'd you get out of it? You didn't stop the game from being the number 1 or number 2 most popular game on Twitch. Excuse me. You didn't stop the game from making whatever that is. Let's say 3 million. You didn't stop the game from making over $150 million. You didn't stop J.K. Rowling from getting her royalties. You made yourselves look like a bunch of fucking clowns. You hurt the movement. And see, the problem is you hurt the movement because you're not speaking out against the stupidity. Speak out against the stupidity. You can transpose the last 3 letters there and just say ass to shorten it. Nice. You made girlfriend or Roos cry and made her boyfriend tell you that you can suck his balls. Right. Well, no, that was somebody else. Somebody else said that. That was XQC. He said that. The problem is hate's the goal. Okay? Hate breeds hate. I enjoy watching your streams because they're informative and challenges my own worldview. You organize your points well and are willing to update your own perspectives when you're wrong or ignorant. Yeah, exactly. I say this all the time. I only knew the AI copyright thing up till November. The last time I met with my lawyer about the AI copyright thing, we filed copyrights for AI art. It changed. Somebody came to my show and let me know there'd been some changes. I wasn't aware the USPTO had told the judge they're not going to honor copyrights. I was like, thanks, great. That's what happens. If you hear me talking about a point, don't say you're wrong, because I'm going to say no, I'm not. Say, are you aware that this has transpired in December or January? And then I'm going to look it up live and be like, oh shit, I didn't know about that. That's the problem we have. The problem we have is you will never win an argument by telling some other people, by telling somebody else they're wrong. You're never going to convince them. You guys know I'm a tour, not a travel agent. Like, I book your trip, but I give people advice. I give people advice for going to Disney. Somebody came to me and they said they got their disability access system request denied. And I said, well, what's your disability? They said, we use a wheelchair. I said, yeah, you don't qualify for it. They said, well, why don't we qualify for it? It's because they've widened all the queues. Your motorized wheelchair will fit through the queues. Well, that's inconvenient. Yeah, but you don't need the DAS. You don't have autism. You don't have PTSD. You don't have issues where you're going to have an issue thing. And so the person was like, well, they're just wrong. And I was like, well, look at it from their point of view. They allowed everybody and their brother to use the DAS service for so long that everybody was using it. I can get special access because I have autism. Yeah, if your autism results in your inability to wait in queues without having incidents, then yeah, they give you a return time. Instead of you staying in the queue the whole time, they tell you, okay, it's 11:24 right now. The line is 36 minutes. Come back at noon and you don't wait in line, or you don't wait in as long of a line. What's everyone's thought on dating sites that are helping people find forever partners, or are they just a pimp service? Well, if what somebody's looking for is a booty call, then I don't have a problem with dating sites that are booty calls. If you have a website that is helping people get what they want out of life, then I don't see the problem. I don't see a problem with that. It's like I saw earlier somebody said something, because on this show I can't grab every point. I dislike the hypocrisy of it, and it starts in high school and carries on with people for the rest of their life. You're a guy in high school that sleeps with a bunch of girls, they call you a stud. You're a girl in high school that sleeps with a bunch of guys, they call you a slut. Why the fucking double standard? Why the double fucking standard? Why is it that we still live in a society that men never want to know how many partners men never want to know how many other partners their partner has had. We'll just say it that way. The number could be 2, and that's too many. If a man early on in his life, a man will ask his partner, his generally female partner, how many men have you slept with? She'll say 2, including you, and the man will have a fit. Like, dude, you're not planting the fucking flag in any rose garden here. Deal with it. I never understood that. I never understood that double standard fucking hypocrisy. But see, and here's the other one that I called out guys on all the time. I was ahead of the curve. Guys, every guy running around in a group is all saying they've slept with 10, 15, 20 girls. And all the girls are saying that they slept with 1 or 2 guys. And I'm sitting there at this party once, and we were like, there's about 40 people there. And I was engaged. I was engaged in high school. I loved my fiance then. I still love my fiance. It never changed. We just weren't lifelong compatible. So I'm there, and people would be like, ask me, how many people have you slept with? I'm like, 3, including her. And she'd be like, 2, including him. And so we're sitting there, and she and I are just doing some math one day. We're like, you know what? We're going to go around the room. And people started getting really uncomfortable. We're going to go around the room. Since you all feel it okay to ask us who we've slept with and have comments about us because we've only slept with 3 and 2 respectively. Who have you slept with in this room? And we're getting like all these weird looks. I'm like, yeah, because the problem is this. Either these guys are going to claim they slept with people in this room and they've never slept with them, or the girls are going to have to say they slept with half the room. And then that's when my buddy was like, dude, why are you doing this to people? I think dating sites cause sleeping around to happen, and a new partner is just a click away from both sides of the horn. Who cares? Who cares if people are promiscuous? Who cares? If you aren't looking to be promiscuous, stay your ass off dating sites. My friend told me a joke I thought was funny. Everybody wants a key that can unlock every lock. Nobody wants a lock that gets unlocked by every key. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely solid. See, and that goes back. Jay, why are we talking about promiscuity? Because we're talking about lesbians, gays, bisexuals, right? We're talking about half of that acronym is sexual orientation. I don't care who you're sleeping with, as long as you're not sleeping with somebody you're not supposed to be, right? As long as you're not sleeping with somebody you're not supposed to be, sleep with whoever you want. Yes means yes. No means no. In absence of a yes, the answer is no. For those of you that never heard that again, I'll say it one more time. Yes means yes. No means no. In absence of a yes, the answer is no. It's not hard. It's also, I want to remind people, if alcohol was involved, you can't say yes. If alcohol is involved, he can't say yes. I know the alcohol industry, the liquor industry, the bar industry, the nightclub industry doesn't like when I say that. But it's something that I reminded all of my airmen, all of my sergeants, all of my lieutenants, my single lieutenants, on my Friday out brief. I want to remind everybody, if you're going out with somebody tonight, decide if you're having sex before you're having drinks. I didn't have sexual assault charges for the people that were under my command. My people actually turned it into a running joke. And I said, I'd rather be turned into a running joke that I'm encouraging promiscuity rather than encouraging sexual assaults. One of your friends got a rape charge because he was drunk, and so was she, but she filed first. Yep. That's how it goes. That's how it goes. That's why I always told him, make the decision that you're having sex. And I used to laugh. I'm going to tell you guys a solid, fucking truthful story. You can believe me, disbelieve me, whatever you want. I made a joke at a family gathering that with all of the false rape charges going on, a high school boy shouldn't be having any sex without written consent. And one of my nephews took this serious. I actually had a file. And it was kind of a joke, but kind of serious. And when he got asked, why are you, why am I signing this? Well, my uncle who's in the military says young men get charged with sexual assault from consensual sex. I was more proud of him that he had the file folder than I was how many files were in the folder. But I was like, smart boy. Because all you got to do is have one hashtag Me Too incident that ruins your life. That ruins your life. Smart boy. I did ask him if he went to the clinic after every partner, and he didn't understand why. He said, "No, but we'll get that PCU fixed up. Go get your check. Go get your check between every partner. Go get your check every 3 months. It's like your oil change, man." Put blank forms in the condom packages so everyone has them. No excuses. That's right. But you know, I can't believe you're making light of sexual assault. It's not that I'm making light of sexual assault. I'm not making light of it at all. And I am never going to say that anybody deserves to be sexually assaulted. Not saying that. I'm not even saying people put themselves in situations, right? Apple, Samsung should have an app. Shit, man, we should do that. We should create a consent app. User Big Stud XXX69XXX420 is requesting permission to fuck. Harley Quinn lover 92 accepts this permission. This permission lasts for 12 hours. So, and added to the terms of service for those dating apps. Okay, but the consent form implies men are only capable of... No, because you can do it the other way. You can do it either way. Harley Quinn 420 is requesting permission. But to talk about a very serious issue in regards to that, what Black Magic brought up, why is it that the implication is still that only men can commit rapes? I'll give you a handful of reasons. Number one, men don't report being raped. Men don't report being sexually assaulted. Men don't. Men don't report it. It's the same reason why men are still domestic abusers. Law is set up to favor women in those cases. That's actually incorrect. The law is not set up to favor women in those cases. The procedural doctrine, no, it's not. The law is not set up. Well, hold on. Where is here, first of all? Let me make sure I know where here is. Denmark? Okay. Then, yes. Some of you, yes, that is, yes. In Europe, different, in America, the law isn't written like that. But the procedural doctrine is because men don't report sexual abuse. Men don't report domestic violence. Men don't report these things. But you guys know my view on education is this. Men don't report domestic violence. You have to have a lot of evidence for a man to win a domestic violence case. Depends on your location, yeah. The law in the U.S. is set up to favor the assaulter because proof of guilt is required. Not with domestic violence, not really anymore. Because remember, testimony is evidence. Testimony is evidence, and when you get into domestic violence cases where it's he said, she said, that is one of the few places where you're screwed, because you have the right to not take the stand, but if you don't take the stand, then they only hear one side. Yeah, 6 foot. Your laws are still the old European antiquated version. So yeah, you are correct. In your country, women are not capable of committing rape because the law isn't worded properly. With that said, we live in a society where we can't fix the problems because nobody wants to talk about the problem. As you noticed, as I went through multiple articles, multiple articles, there's nobody's talking about what the problem with J.K. Rowling is. And the one article that did talk about what the supposed problem with J.K. Rowling is, takes us back to J.K. Rowling says, I respect every trans person's right to live any way that feels authentic and comfortable. I'd march with you if you were discriminated on the basis of being trans. At the same time, my life has been shaped by being female. I do not believe it is hateful to say so. I grew up around alpha male men. I grew up in an era where, and I am not ashamed to say this because it is a product of my uncles. And this is, unfortunately, we are shaped by the experiences of the people who raise us. My uncle, I remember sitting there and my uncle said, you got to have a strong name. You have to have a strong name, because you go to baseball and you got Joe, you got John, you got Tim, you got Mark, you got Matthew, right? And those are all the kids sitting right next to the coach. And then at the end of the bench, you have Pierce and Tyler and Brennan and Shane. And they're all sitting at the back of the bench because they're being raised by people that aren't raising them to be strong men. I don't disagree with this. And I'm not saying that your name, is a problem. But I'm saying that you have left wing and right wing and activists having kids and naming their kids and trying to indoctrinate their children to be the next leaders of the movement. At the same time, I see kids, a boy named Sue, all right? I see kids growing up in households where their parents aren't doing anything illegal, but by God, DCFS should take those fucking kids. I see kids being brainwashed, right? I see kids being absolutely brainwashed by activist parents, right? We want to say, like, I have all daughters. I have a lot of godsons. I have a lot of godsons. I have a lot of godsons because over the 25 years I've been doing this, not streaming, but educating, I have a lot of women in my life who are single moms, and they're like, well, I need a consistent male influence for my son. Great. I'll make him one of my godsons. But if we do this, you know how I am, you know what I believe in, this is what I'm gonna teach the kid his whole life. I don't get in the way of a stepdad's doing his job. I don't get in the way of a dad doing his job. But as far as the mom saying to me, I want my kid to have some direction, some values, yeah, I'll do that. Do I believe in a strong name makes a person? Yes, I do. For those of you that aren't aware of this fact, my teenager daughter, my eldest child and my teenager have both changed their name, legally changed their first names. My teenager had an emotion as her first name. Never fit. I became her stepdad when she was 2. Her name never fit. When I adopted her, I said, you want to change your name? And she said, yes, I do. She picked her own name. Totally changed her personality. I can only speak on my own, anecdotal evidence. But the kids that were named like Pierce or Tyler or Brennan or Shane, in my generation, they didn't grow up with happy childhoods. They got made fun of a lot. I put up the 30 human rights. You guys know I called for education. President Jalan is for education reform. I think teachers do a shitty job about all the things that they need to be doing other than the teaching. But I understand why they do a shitty job, because they don't get paid enough to be doing all the other shit that they need to be doing. Names being respect. Do you think the big dogs get a cool nickname? Well, yeah, I think the social elite in the teenage years get cool nicknames. As you know, I do not profess to have been one of the cool kids in high school. I was the kid who wanted the fuck out of high school as fast as possible. I did not really see myself spending 4 years in high school to get a fucking piece of paper that most of the people teaching me to give me that piece of paper were dumber than I was. I had an interesting conversation with an English teacher. I was in honors English, and the honors English was memorizing 20 words. And all of their all of their thesaurus entries. And I went to the teacher and I said, I'd like to drop to your academic version of this class. He's like, no, I think you need to stay in honors. I said, I don't need to stay in honors English. He's like, it's going to help you get into college. I'm like, I already am in college. I go to college at night. I go to high school during the day. I go to college at night. And he's like, really? I was like, yeah. He's like, well, it's going to help you in English 101. And I said, yeah, that's funny because I already passed English 101. Here are my transcripts. They dropped me out of honors English. Bullshit. The teacher knew damn well that the teacher was just full of shit. Could this concept also have a correlation to people that make their own pronouns and genders as well? So here's the problem with that. And I'm gonna flip it back to you. I'm not saying bad parents twist and morph all their kids. But I'm saying that it's a little odd to me, the total number of, suddenly we have all these transgender teenagers. I'll be right back. All right, so on the idea of could this concept also have a correlation to people that make their own pronouns and genders as well? There are a group of people that are being given their pronouns or given their genders by their parents. And you can see this because of the radical change in how children are raised in the 2000s and how children were raised in the 60s, the 70s, the 80s, and the 90s. Now, to put a little spin on this, right? To put a little bit of spin on this, what people have to understand is generations used to be 30 years. Generations were 30 years. And you did not have these multi-generational families. And when I say multi-generational families, mine's an example of that, right? My family, I have a 30-year-old daughter. You can believe me or not, I don't give a shit. I have a 30-year-old daughter. I also have a 10-year-old daughter. And then I've got them racked and stacked in between. Is my 30-year-old daughter an older sister to my 10-year-old? Or an authority figure? 30 years ago would have been one thing. But now they're in different generations. They are literally in different generations. My eldest daughter, she's like an aunt. Exactly. My 30-year-old is more an aunt. Is more an aunt to her little sister than she is a sister. And it happened the same way in my family. My uncle, my mom's baby brother, was more a brother to me than an uncle. So you start getting all these fucking crossed, these fucking crossed signals, right? And then people are saying, well, the thing with kids today, you don't know what the fuck kids are doing today, because they say kids nowadays don't become sexually active until they're 16 or 17 years old. What fucking kids are you surveying? In my generation, I was sexually active at 12. I know in this generation, these kids aren't making it to 16 without having sex. What happened to the cool nicknames like Skull Crusher, Running Rock, or Tank? Those nicknames you did something cool to earn. Yeah. See, the problem is we're projecting our opinions, our feelings, our beliefs onto these kids, and we don't even know what the hell's going on. Yeah. We don't even know what's going on with these kids. So we're turning around and we're saying the thing with kids are. No, the thing with kids is kids don't know. For example, if you ever saw Game of Thrones, you know that there's the scene with Oberyn Martell, where he's in the brothel. And the odd thing about Oberyn Martell is I never saw any outrage about the openly gay character in Game of Thrones. I never saw any compliments for the openly gay in Game of Thrones. Pedro Pascal plays Oberyn Martell, and he's in a brothel with one woman and one man, and he's like, and I like this, and he slaps the woman on, or I think he grabs her tits, actually. Says, I like this. And then he grabs the guy's ass, and I like this. So, like, you're already seeing it in mainstream media. You're already seeing it in mainstream entertainment. Where is the repression of, orientation? Yeah, there were lots of characters that were gay, but you had some of them that were like mocked or made fun of, like Renly Baratheon, kind of made fun of, kind of mocked. But nobody ever brings, like, they're condemning homosexuality. Yeah, you mean in a religious society there might be some people that condemn homosexuality? It's not an overtone from George R.R. Martin saying homosexuality is bad, and he had to make sure to put in a strong character like Prince Oberyn to say, nope, it's not this, it's the society. Be gay in the Vatican and see what happens. See what happens if you go to Vatican City and be openly gay. The Catholics aren't going to like it, because the Catholics were told not to like it, because the guys that wrote the Bible said don't like it. By the way, the Bible was written by man. For those of you that don't remember, the Bible was written by man. I'm pretty sure that if God wanted to send a message down, it wouldn't have typographical errors, wouldn't have grammar issues. Just saying. But no, we live in this society. Today's topic is hate is never a goal. Yeah, but the bisexual man got killed by the CIS white man. Bible was properly written by some man high on something. No, it was written by Constantine and his hand-picked group of people. Yeah, wouldn't have been changed by kings and popes, right? But the thing is, today's topic, hate is never a goal. All of these opportunities for media hoopla this week, all the hoopla, and they're mad about a token trans character called Serona Ryan. If you can't put forward your argument about something, like, here, I got a question for you. Where's the Irish guy in Wakanda Forever? Where's the Irish guy? Where's the newsboy cap wearing, long hair, curly, very sexy looking Irish guy? Where's that guy? Where's that guy in Wakanda Forever? He's not there. That's not what we're doing in that movie. Where's, you know what I'm getting offended by? Hey, what's up? Thanks for joining in, first time caller. See, my problem with, and sadly you showed up at the end of the show, but we do the show every Saturday. We got a few minutes left. Thanks for being here. It's easier and feels better to attack a person's character than to attack their idea. Right. It's like, why do we put token black people in movies? Why do we put token white? Well, why do we put token women in movies? Because there's something called the Michelle effect, where movies perform better if two female characters have something to talk about rather than just the main character. There's all this scientific research. You don't need two female characters in the movie. They put it in there because then the movie's more relatable to women, because they're trying to sell more tickets. Right? To make funny one-liners and get killed by the horror villain. Right, exactly. Why is it now in horror movies, the black guy gets killed first. Because it's become a memeable, it has become a memeable moment, because for a long time, the black sidekick got killed in the horror movies. Now it's a joke. The last horror movie I watched didn't even have a black guy in it. Because I'm going to say this, and I'm not saying that you don't have friends groups like this, because you do. But I have been in so few friend groups that have been one black girl, one white girl, one Mexican girl, one white dude, and then fill in the blank. We're not the United Nations, folks. I'm not saying it never happens, but generally you got a couple of black people and a couple of African American, but fuck it, whatever. You've got a couple of people of one culture, you got a couple of people of another culture, you got a couple of people of another culture. Never have I gone out to dinner with people and had, we currently represent 16% of the voting bodies in the United Nations. Let's solve the issues of the world. Why? Because that's just not how it is. And so we want our movies to reflect this. And then people are like, well, the Avengers had racial diversity. Yeah, because Stan Lee was ahead of his time. Stan Lee was a racist when he first started out. Was he really? Well, you don't know. Of course he was a racist. By today's standards. Because America in the 50s and the 60s and the 70s and the 80s was racist. Why now are white people in the movies complete inept idiots? That seems like they forgot how to breathe. Right. See, for those of you that are like young, I don't know how old everybody is, but Grumpy Old Man and I, we're old. We've been around a minute. We'll tell you that people used to be so ignorant. They would drop the N-word left, right, and center, but then cheer for the Chicago Bulls. Who wants to go to the bar? Wait, no, we have too many white males. Sorry, Charlie. Who do we have that's a minority gay? Yeah, we got... But this was my life growing up. The groups of people, and I recognized racism early on because I listened to my family. My family's a bunch of Irish people. My family actually lived through the no Irish need apply era. If you were Irish and you tried to go to England in the 60s, they didn't want to hire Patty. They didn't want to hire Mick. They said, get on the boat and go back home. So my family talked about racism and discrimination to a level that's not the way it was in the books. My dad was denied jobs because he's a Paddy. My dad, my uncle were denied jobs because they're Irish. That happened in this country too, by the way, folks, in the 70s. People forget the no Irish need apply. No Irish need apply was still going on in the 1970s. But we forget about that because Irish people are white people. But people in Chicago would drop the N-word left, right, and center anytime. And I finally said, you're dropping the N-word all the time. Yeah. You're wearing a Michael Jordan jersey while wearing his shoes. If you hate black people that much, why are you making a black guy rich? Why you gotta do me like that, man? Just watch any commercial these days. White people are perceived as idiots or not even there anymore. I don't watch commercials. I don't watch commercials simply because of the fact that I worked in marketing and I know what's subliminally in the messages, the sounds, the sound effects, the audio tracking. Have you ever noticed that when you're listening to a soda commercial, for some odd reason, the sound of the fizz in the soda is really pronounced? It's because they track it that way. Because it's a psychosomatic response. The pop of the top of the can and the fizz when they're pouring it, that's tracked at a louder volume and a higher track, a higher frequency, so that it resonates to your brain. Like, I'm sure some of you right now are getting thirsty because I'm talking about the fizzle of a soda. Because you've been Pavlovian trained You've been Pavlovian trained. When you hear a soda open, you want a soda. So, watching those perfect beer pours, right? And another chat you get banned for saying that. As long as everything you say is in a academic construct, my channel is designed to have academic discussions. If you go out of bounds, if you start to lean towards an ism, racism, sexism, bigotry, you better be able to tell me why you're going there. But no, the problem is nobody wants to have these serious conversations anymore because it's offensive. We might offend somebody. Well, you offend me by not being offensive. If you're going to jump in, go in, all in it. Go all in. It's like we started the show with the Michael Douglas quote. We'll do it one more time just to close up the clip.
It's going to say, you want free speech? Let's see you acknowledge a man whose words make your blood boil, who's standing center stage and advocating at the top of his lungs that which you would spend a lifetime opposing at the top of yours. You want to claim this land as a land of the free? Then the symbol of your country cannot just be a flag. The symbol also has to be one of its citizens exercising his right to burn that flag in protest. Now show me that. Defend that, celebrate that in your classrooms. Then you can stand up and sing about the land of the free.
See, and that's my problem with the whole Hogwarts Legacy thing, which kind of derailed gaming this week. You first of all, you don't even want to tell me what your agenda is. I can't help a person that doesn't have a problem. I have a video on this YouTube channel. It's called Who's Got the Monkey? The moment your problem becomes my problem, it means you don't have a problem, and I can't help a person that doesn't have a problem. If the transgender organization, movement, needs help, you will find no better ally than me. But you gotta tell me, what it is you want changed. You got to tell me what's unfair or not right. But you can't just run around and say J.K. Rowling doesn't have the right to say what she wants to say, because she does. J.K. Rowling has the right to say whatever she wants to say, whether it's bigoted, whether it's transphobic. But as I've shown, and this is where the movement doesn't want you to see, I respect every trans person's right. Appreciate that. I respect every trans person's right to live any way that feels authentic and comfortable. I'd march with you if you were discriminated against on the basis of being trans. At the same time, my life has been shaped by being female. I do not believe it is hateful to say so. And I 100% agree with what she says. My life has been shaped by being a man. I've been discriminated against because I'm a white man. Oh shit, you've been discriminated against because you're a white man? Yeah, there's not a lot of scholarship money for white men. Not a lot of college scholarship money for white men. Because when you turn 18, you can't say that on Twitch, even YouTube now, they may ban you. No, they won't. Why would they ban me? Why would they ban me? What am I afraid of? What are they going to ban me for? What are they going to do? Ban a guy with a master's degree in education for educating people? They're not going to ban me. See, that's that hysteria. It happens. No, it doesn't. No, it doesn't. In 6 years of asking for references of people who got banned for saying something, I've never been given one. Ever. In 6 years. In 6 years, I have never been given an example of somebody that's been banned for having an articulatable position. Self-censoring has to have a limit. Exactly. I am not going to self-censor my positions. But what I will remind you is this. Number one, for 6 years, I've been asking people for references of people who've been unfairly banned. Depends on what chat room you're in. Hold on a second. Are you talking about the streamer banning you or the platform banning you? Because if the streamer bans you, that's the streamer's right. I have the right. The platform? No. Period, no. Period, dot, no. 6 years of asking for data points of people that have been banned. Because first of all, you say in a chat room. Well, then you're not the streamer. You're in the audience. the platform doesn't censor. Twitch doesn't ban you from my chat. I ban you from my chat because this is my house. If you're being ignorant, I ban you, not the platform. The platform does neither Twitch nor YouTube does any moderation for you. There's an entire section of both of your terms of services that say to you, you are required to do your own moderation. In fact, there is Asmongold's been suspended for shit someone else did. That was unfair. Correct. Asmongold has been banned for things that have happened in his chat, but he gets those overturned because Asmongold condemns inappropriate behavior. See, the problem is, it's true, bro. It happens. Great. Then here. I'm gonna help you out. First of all, I'm not your bro. I hate that phrase. I have brothers. You're not one of them. Second of all, it's true. It happens. Great. Then go and do the data gathering. Go and do the data gathering and give me the examples of streamers that have been banned for their views on platforms. And I'm going to tell you that what they've been banned for isn't a one-for-one correlation of what you think they're saying. Because I've been doing this research for 6 years. And in 6 years, goose eggs. Nothing. No data. 6 years and no data. People constantly come and they say it happens. Great. If it happens, then you should have those data points. Give me names, dates, clips. See, because you've jumped around between a speaker, a viewer getting banned. See, and this is how I know you don't have the data. That's impossible. Then if it's impossible for me, here, I'm going to help you out. If it's impossible for you to give me evidence of what you're saying, then you have no evidence and you shouldn't be saying it. Because now because you've jumped around enough times already. You've said you would have been banned in other chats for saying things you've said. That's not the platform, that's the creator. If you get banned in a chat channel, it's the creator. How am I going to show you people got banned if their profile is gone? Because you should be able to give me their name, the date they got banned. Because I can look up banned profiles, and so can you. You can see that they were a member of the platform because third-party sites track the data and the analytics. So this is the thing. It's interesting because now, see, you're pivoting so quickly and you're not aware of what I'm aware of. So if you know that there's people that have been banned, give me their names. I can look up their platform. I can look up the data. Does anyone get that much into it? Yes, I do. I do. Because what I shut down on my show faster than anything else is bullshit. And what you've come in, if you come in with a bunch of bullshit, you've jumped from one foot to the other. Every single thing you've said, I've been able to shut down. There is not a magical fucking group of people that have been censored. Because if there was, you would see them, like Dr. Disrespect. He got kicked off of the Twitch platform. Twitch has every right to kick him off of the platform. He moved over to YouTube. YouTube hasn't kicked him off their platform. Dude, people get banned unfairly all the time. Which people? And how is this a hard concept to hear? Because I've never been given any evidence. I've never been given any empirical evidence in 6 years of this happening. I have had people take clips of my show and send them to Twitch. And you know what happens? Twitch contacts me and they say, you've been accused of saying this. And I say, okay. And we have a clip. Okay. Let me go in. Let me go to the left and go to the right of the clip. Let me give you the highlight, and Twitch reviews it and they say, yep, got it. You handled that appropriately. I'm a Twitch partner on my other channel. See, a lot of people come in here and they say, oh, he's a guy with 15 viewers. He doesn't know how Twitch works. I'm a Twitch partner on my other channel. So you say it happens all the time. Well, if it happens all the time, then how do you not have evidence of what happens all the time? Like 6 Foot says. If it's a systemic problem happening all the time, okay, you see it happen. Give me names. Give me names. Give me names of channels. Right now, if you see it happen, give me names. I'm ready. I'm ready to go. I got the pen right here. I got the yellow notepad. Everybody who's been on my show before knows what the yellow notepad is. These are the... We'll do in the future, of course. So let me shut you down right now. One of the things you need to know about my show. You don't walk in here with a bunch of bullshit and then not have it ready to go. So right now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to say you are literally spinning a narrative that you have no evidence for. You're spinning a narrative that you have zero evidence for. So an educated individual would change their opinion. If this is your big talking point, why don't you have the evidence readily available? Because when I want to promote a point, I have all my evidence. I have all my ducks in a row. I have slideshows. I have PowerPoints. I have clips. I have quotes. Right? When I want to talk about a point, I don't just have one thing. I have everything I want to talk about that day. I have it ready to go. Right? That's my advice to you. Don't come into a show with a person that you're trying to say does this for a living. I'm a partner on my other channel. I'm a content creator coach. I own a corporation. You think I would be streaming on Twitch if Twitch was unfairly banning people? So I do this for a living. No, I don't do anything for a living. I'm retired. This is my hobby. But I'm more successful as a hobbyist content creator than 99% of creators who do this for a living. Okay? So yes, I know this business inside and out, right? I do this. I thought you just said you do this for a living. Right, I do this for a living as a hobby. Your hobbies can be your living can be your hobbies. Hobbies are free, interest costs money. This is what I do. I don't get paid to do this though. This is what I do. And just for the historical record, so that you can understand, right? When it all boils down to it, right? On my other channel, I'm in the top 0.4% of Twitch. Do I do this for a living or not? I don't take any money for what I do. This is what I do. This is my hobby. This is where my time goes. But all the money I make, I don't take any money from it. So do I do it for a living? No, this isn't what pays my bills. But this is what pays for all the music on this channel. You know a dude that was claimed he was banned on a platform unfairly? Turns out he was spamming ASCII Tibetan friendship windmills for half a year. Right. See, that's my problem when people start saying Twitch banned me. Twitch didn't ban you. Now, what people don't know about is that I don't know what the total number is. But when you get banned from X number of channels on Twitch, Twitch then bans your account. The platform didn't ban you. Whatever it is, 30 individual content creators banned you. And then the platform says, you're not somebody we need on the platform anymore. You add nothing to the conversation. People forget that it's not censorship when Twitch bans you. It's not censorship when YouTube bans you. Those are private platforms. But the whole point there, 8-bit, is you jumped in, you're all over the place. You tell me that it happens all the time, but you can't give me one name. You can't give me one name of somebody who was banned on Twitch unfairly. Now, does Twitch have a double standard? Absolutely. If one person shows nudity on their channel, should they receive a permanent infraction? Yes. Are there streamers on Twitch that show nudity all the time? Yes. Do they get away with it? Yes. Do those streamers make the platform an awful lot of money? Yes. It is what it is, man. It's a business. A business is a business is a business. Do I think it's fair? No. Do I think it's equal? No. If I was making the platform $5 million a year and I accidentally showed my underwear band, it's against the terms of service. Should they permanently ban my account? No. Should they permanently ban anybody's account? Well, it depends on how many times that infraction happens. If you, and a lot of the time where people say this person was banned unfairly, well, what comes to light is that person had 19 tries to correct the behavior. They got reported 19 times. You don't need to be here. You didn't really want to be here anyway. Anyway, that was easy. I saw that one coming. With that said, I am going to get out of here. Next week, I hope to do the Audit the Auditor one. Because I think we need to talk about that. I think a lot of people don't understand their constitutional rights. By the way, if you're ever gonna be challenged by an auditor, a constitutionalist, right? If you're ever gonna be challenged by a constitutionalist, turn around and ask them to tell you what the Eighth Amendment is. People always want to turn around and talk about the First Amendment, the Second Amendment, the Fifth Amendment. If you've got an amendment person getting up in your face, like the Fifth Amendment, the Sixth Amendment, right to a fair trial, ask them what the Eighth Amendment is, because they should know it, because that one has to do with bails, fines, and punishments. Ask them the Seventh Amendment. Most of them don't know it. Most of them don't know all the amendments. They just know the ones that they think are important. Personally, I think if we call it the Bill of Rights, it's the top 10 amendments. I think they're all important. Anyway, you guys have a good weekend. I will be back on Monday for the gaming show.